That quad combo with this board is, things going to be going section to section, like I said.
Super fast. Welcome to the Real Board Loft. I'm Trip Forman. We got Brent Riley with JS with us. Brent, welcome. And we are here to talk with you about the JS Flamefish. Brent, take it away.
Yeah, so I know we talked earlier about the Sub-Zero, which is our Groveler of the line. Well, this is the Super Groveler. You know, this is the one where you're like, I don't even know if I really want to get out there.
Right.
This is the board you grab. This thing goes Mach 10. Probably the fastest board we have in the lineup. This is in the Hi-Fi 3 construction right here. Really forgiving board too, and I think that's a lot to do with the rail. You know, a softer rail with that wider outline. It's just gonna allow you to kind of ping pong around section to section. Huntington hop, you know, it puts that to shame.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, you're really gonna go section to section very easily with kind of really no hiccups, kind of because that soft rail. You're allowed to, you know, kind of not be on your A game and do okay.
Okay, and nice big squash tail, a lot of area like underneath your back foot, right? Generating speed.
Yeah, so it's going to be a pretty loose overall board, but then you could go a slightly bigger fin.
Okay.
You know, that's one way to kind of maybe give yourself just a bit more hold in and out of the turn. As a quad though, like that quad combo with this board the thing's going to be going section to section, like I said.
Super fast.
Super fast, in and out of the turns, really responsive, I think, with that Hi-Fi 3 combo. We just make this board in the Hi-Fi 3 factory.
Okay.
And the combo of the two, you know, with the tech and just overall outline, it's a really good board. And
talk about the Flamefish versus the Sub-Zero.
so Sub-Zero has a slightly more rocker, a little bit more pulled in nose. So it's just going to be slightly bigger on the wave range, where Flamefish would be on, you know, ankle slappers up to maybe, you know, chest highs where you're maxed out. And that's just kind of based on the wave height of it kind of maybe being a better option.
Okay.
Not to say that this board couldn't surf it on a mushier, bigger wave. I'm sure this thing could go, you know, goes great.
Or a point break or something
Point
like
break,
that.
something like that.
Yeah.
You know, which you're probably going to move to a different board anyways, but for what it does in the range of waves that you're surfing, then this is probably the best small wave board you could look at. It's my board I bring to the beach day. You know, you're hanging with the lady with some friends.
Right.
That's the board I bring down there, and you know, if I get in the water and catch a couple waves and still do, you know, semi shortboardy turns, that ticks all the boxes, and I think the Flamefish does a really good job of that.
Awesome. That's a good board to be looking at coming into summer, you know?
Great board for summer. Great board for summer.
Just to give viewers some dimensions on this board that we're looking at, it's 5'3", 20 and an 1/8, 2 and 5/16, 28.3. Brent, what are you riding for your Flamefish?
So I'm in the 5'2" at 27.
Okay.
So just a notch down from here. I generally like to go maybe up to a liter more than my standard shortboard, and that's just probably because the wave's going to be a little more gutless. Give yourself a little extra paddle power help, but you have a little bit of a range to work with, but going up a little bit I think isn't a bad call for a Groveler like this.
And talk with us a little bit about Hi-Fi 3 and like kind of what it adds to this board, you know, and even if you want to jump into it, because some people might not even know the difference between Hi-Fi 3 and Hi-Fi 2, like talk a little bit about Hi-Fi and then like kind of what it adds to this.
Yeah, so Hi-Fi 3 kind of evolved from our success of the Carbo Tune construction. And you'll notice on the bottom of that, it looks like essentially half a Carbo Tune because it is. That's going to be that stringerless EPS core with the carbon wrap around. Basically wraps around the rail, and on the front of the deck you'll see what looks like a lot of like the Hi-Fi 2 construction, because it does have those same similarities there with the single carbon up top towards the deck. And that Negro wrapping it all together. In the Hi-Fi 2 update from the Hi-Fi original version that we did, it doesn't no longer goes nose to tail. It's just kind of centered right here, and that allows for more torsion and spring back to the rider. So I like to look at the Hi-Fi 3 construction as a smaller wave weapon.
Okay.
And maybe up to head high or so generally. And then from there I like to go maybe up to a PU construction. But a lot of our small wave models, we do kind of promote that in the EPS construction, whether it's Carbo Tune or Hi-Fi 3.
Okay, awesome. And then also it's lighter. Obviously a lot lighter compared to like a PU as well.
It's a bit lighter, smaller day. It's gonna just allow you to kind of, like I said, ping pong around, navigate the board, push the board around. I'm a huge fan of the tech, and whenever it's smaller and I need a little extra, the Hi-Fi 3 kind of gives that to me.
What about durability? Like, you know, lighter weight, people are always going to question durability if it's lighter. So what about durability?
I mean, you have a lot of strength in the board overall. You're going to get those footwells like you naturally would. I personally don't mind the footwells. It kind of allows me to feel the board and where I am a bit. So yeah, you get those kind of natural footwells. It's going to be a strong overall tech. And then as far as like the black goes, like just simple don't leave it in the sun like you would any other board, so it doesn't, so you don't have any bubbling. EPS is just going to be more susceptible to that, but we haven't really seen any issues in that. Normal wear and tear. Don't leave it in your car if it's 150 degrees.
Right.
If you're going to Arizona, surf the wave pool, don't leave it in there.
That wouldn't be a good time for the board.
That would not be a good time for that. No, so unless you want to see it to grow like a humpback, I wouldn't recommend it.
Yeah.
But no, it's been an awesome tech, and we're really happy with the Flamefish. And like I said, it could be a really good board for going into summer.
Yeah, the Hi-Fi 3, lighter, a lot more spring and pop out of the turns was going to help you generate speed, and the durability is there for what it needs to be. Like you're not charging like really big surf, so you don't need a huge stringer in it, which is going to make the board dead and not really reactive in that small surf. The ability to like generate speed and get going down the line and ping-ponging, like you're saying, on the waves is going to be a huge plus on a board like this. Awesome, Brent. Thank you so much for joining us. It is the JS Flamefish in Hi-Fi 3 construction. If any of you out there have any questions on the Flamefish or would like to place an order for one, you can always reach us at the shop, 252-987-6000, or look us up online, realwatersports.com/surfing. Thanks for tuning in.